Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Devin here with a pretty crazy deck profile for you guys. I took a bit of a break from Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I haven't made any videos in a long time, but as you can see, I am playing 60 card, okay? 60 card Chimera Illusion Pile. This deck is really a lot of fun to play. And then post side, it's just a war crime. There's no other way to put it. It's bad when you guys see my side deck. I brought this deck to locals for my first locals in, I think it's been a few months. My very first time ever playing the deck, I did not practice it. I basically just kind of like threw everything together in theory, did some test hands to figure out, what I liked, what I didn't like. We learned a lot. So I went 3-1, overall third place. There were 4 rounds that night. I lost round 1 to Memento K9. I basically kind of just got hand trapped to death, most of those games. Fiendsmith Limits was a win. That game was really crazy. One of the games I opened like 4 different Sinful Spoils cards and a Gazelle, and was able to full combo and break his board. Then I played against Mikonko, round 3. He had no interruptions, and I went full combo. And he just could not play through it. Round 4, I played against Chimera Regenesis. A lot of those games ended up grind games. And actually most of the games I played did. Because all of my losses, I bricked 1 game, against Fiendsmith Limits. But I still won the match. So all of my losses were to a card that I did not expect to be as popular as it is right now. Droll and Lockbird. Yeah, I got drolled. I think in my Chimera Regenesis match, I got drolled like 4 times. Memento K9, sorry. I got drolled like 3 or 4 times as well. I got drolled over the course of the entire night. Like, I mean, the tier limit player drolled me multiple times. I got drolled between 12 and 15 times over the course of 4 rounds. This deck has, certain hands can like put up like a half board under droll, which is how I ended up winning some games. Is I basically, we put ourselves into a grind game because I was able to establish a half board, they weren't able to fully kill me through it, and I had follow up in the graveyard, and we just kept playing from there. So the only other than the droll problem, this deck performed very, very well. So I believe that moving forward, I'm gonna try and find room to play like Salesman in the main. I don't want to go with Crossout because we don't have a lot of room for non-engine. This deck is a very engine-heavy deck. Even at 60 cards, we're only playing 11 or 12 non-engine. I think it's 11. So yeah, we really need to find a way to counter droll. And maybe there's some better engine choices I can make, so that way we can more effectively get to our half boards under droll. So yeah, keep that in mind. Salesman is going in the main, and we're going to move on with the deck profile. So we have extra, main, and side. The side I like to refer to as Santa brings you lumps of coal. Alright, so main deck. We will start off with obviously 3 Nightmare Apprentice. Searches, basically has this card by itself is 1 card combo into a very large amount of disruptions. It's a little bit awkward because depending on how you play the hand if you open just a Nightmare Apprentice, you actually end up doing all of your Chimera stuff on your opponent's turn. And you basically just use these to get into your other engines. 3 Gazelle. I did not realize how crazy of a normal summon this was until I started doing test hands. And just the fact it can add a level 5 Fiend is very relevant. And then 3 Codal. I'm on 3 Sword Knight. This is 60 cards, so I wanted to max out on my normal summons. And then I'm on 2 Baphomet, because if you draw one, it's kind of really bad sometimes, because you do have ways to revive it from graveyard. Like if you pitch it or something, you don't really have any good ways to get it out of your hand. There is a way, but generally you want to use that card for other purposes. And then obviously 3 Chimera Fusion, and that is the main Chimera engine. I'm playing 3 kind of generic illusion monsters. Master Tau, the Reborn, Diabells, the original Sin Keeper, and Void Burial. So I kind of just went a little overboard and bought all of the generic illusions that are in the game right now, because I figure, there's not that many, so it would be good to have them, if any of them ever become good. Void Burial was going to be the I don't remember the exact name, but the green Talons card. So what that one does is it lets you bounce a card on your field to summon it, and I believe it negates a targeting effect. I don't have the card in front of me, so I don't know exactly what it does, but card seems crazy in theory, but Void Burial was actually very good. Being able, because you can use both of his effects in the same turn. So basically, if a card your opponent owns goes to the graveyard from like anywhere, or controls, so if you have it in your possession, it won't count. But if a card they have goes to the graveyard from anywhere, he just spits himself out onto the board. Boom, 3k body. And then his second effect was actually really funny when it resolved, because if he's on the field and then they have another card that goes to graveyard, you target a card they control and it loses 1500 attack. Actually, it does not target. I'm reading it now. So it does not target. A monster they control loses 1500 attack, and if their attack reaches 0, you destroy that card. So actually, during my match against Memento Canine, they detached for Ripper, and I went on resolution. I went Void Burial effect to special summon itself, and he was like, "What does that do?" I was like, "It's just right now. It's just going to special summon itself from the hand. Would you like to read it?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then he let it go through, and he bone partied into a Memento monster, and I was like, "Void Burial, pop it," and he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." So then he ended up with just a Canine Ripper and some back row on the field. This card, everybody was very afraid of this card, which is very funny because most of the time, like, it didn't really do a whole lot once it was on the board because a lot of monsters has more than 1500 attack. I could see this being really good against, like, Yummy or something. Yeah. So the reason I went with this ratio is Tau you kind of just want to keep in deck to, like, Foolish when you need to revive something. Diabells is an end board piece, and then you generally want like a third illusion, because you get a bunch of illusion, you get like a bunch of searches, and even on the opponent's turn. So you kind of want to search something on your opponent's turn. If you already have follow up, you want to search something that provides some form of utility, which is why this is Void Burial right now, because even on the opponent's turn, he provides some utility. And like I said, the other consideration is the Talons card. Next up, I'm going to get into our generic fusion engine, which is, we're playing the Edgent package. These cards are crazy. 2 bodies and a fusion spell. Don't mind if I do. So you have the Edgent Chain, 3 Patchwork, and I'm on 2 Poly. You can recycle these, so it's not like the end of the world. you know, if you end up with both of them. It's only really bad if you draw both in a patchwork. But like I said, you can make Magnum the reliever and shuffle them back and just draw a card. So, you know. Next up, this was an engine that I had in, and then I learned that Illusion can bridge into it, and it made it absolutely kind of ridiculous. So we are on Azamina. I'm on 2 Black Witch. I was on 3 Black Witch, but I discovered the combo to get you from Chimera into Azamina, so I cut a Black Witch for another monster. You know, and then we have, for our Sinful Spoils, we're on 3 Wanted to search your Black Witch. 2 Deception. 2 Deception was really nice, because a lot of the time, you know, if I drew one, I would activate it. And before I was able to even use the effect, people would out it. So I would just, you know, continue to use other cards in hand to combo back into a Black Witch to set another Deception to still get access to Azamina. For our other Sinful Spoils, we're on White Forest. White Forest is a searchable fusion spell. You really want as many searchable fusion spells as you can. But this card also has another crazy effect, which, you know, if you draw your Burfamets, you can cheat them out with this. Because it has a secondary effect, where if instead of fusion summoning, you can special summon a Fiend, Illusion, or Spellcaster from hand. And then we're on the Morian. Morian's really good because if you have to... Number 1, it's an interruption. Number 2, if you have to open Wanted to get to Diabellstar, and then Deception into Murusalago, you can search the Morian, and then when you hollowed Azamina again, you can send the Morian and then still get it back to reset as an interruption because your Azaminas are illusions. And then the last 2 cards in this little engine is the Hollowed Azamina, obviously, and Elzet Azamina of the White Forest. This card was always very funny because you have multiple ways to search it. You don't just have to go through your Sinful Spoil stuff to get to it. Because, you know, I would search into this card and summon it, and people would be like, okay, and I'd be like, effective fusion summon? They're like, that fusion summons? And I'd be like, yeah, buddy. So yeah, basically the whole goal with this card, the main reason you play it, is you search it through your Chimera combo, as opposed to something else, like a different illusion. You search this, and then if you have a Burfamet fusion on field, you use this effect to special summon itself, and then you activate its effect, fusion summon into Moa Regina. And Moa Regina, I did not know this until I read it, trying to figure out, because I basically just saw a post somewhere that was like, Moa Regina, if you play Moa Regina and LZ, you can go from Chimera into full Azamina combo. And I was like, what? So yeah, you use this effect to fusion summon, you make Moa Regina. Moa Regina can just revive any illusion from the graveyard at any point. It's not a quick effect, but there's no restrictions on it. You just revive an illusion from graveyard, which is absolutely insane. So then you revive this, make a light and dark Chaos Angel as part of your end board, and then you just search any Sinful Spoils. Alright, so that is it for that engine. Next up, pretty crazy engine. So this deck can natively search Fiendsmith, so we get to play all the fun Fiendsmith cards. So yeah, we're on 3 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, 1 Lurie, 1 Tract, 1 Paradise. Paradise is really nice because you generally, sometimes you end up like having to use your sequence for other stuff, and you don't have a ton of light fiends, so you can Tract into Lacrima, bring back Engraver, make Caesar, and then you can get a Paradise on your opponent's turn to just really, you know, make layered interactions. Technically, so the way Chimera bridges into Fiendsmith is through Evil Heroes. So we get to play an Evil Hero package. So Sinister Necrom and a Dusty Gold. And I'm on the Dark Fusion. So these cards are pretty cool. Hard drawing them is not even that bad, because you want a variety of types in your hand when you go to fusion summon, because your main priority in my particular build is getting to that Baphomet fusion. So like sometimes I would normal Gazelle and just search this if I had a fusion spell, just to make Baphomet. And then at the same time I'm getting Fiendsmith access, and then I can use my Baphomet to send whatever I want. I don't necessarily have to send this to get my Fiendsmith stuff. A Dusted Gold, you mostly play him because he is a Light Fiend. That's basically the only reason. However, he does have an effect to search a Dark Fusion, which I am playing. The Dark Fusion, actually having it in deck did come up a few times, because there was a few instances where I hard drew Lurie, but I had Sinister Necrom access, so I would Sinister Necrom, summon the Dusted Gold, go full Fiendsmith combo. When I got to the point where I got to Lacrima, I would, add the Engraver back to hand, search Tract, and then I would Engraver, shuffle back the Adusted Gold, and then I would activate Tract, search the Adusted Gold, pitch the Lurie I already had in hand, just to get access to Dark Fusion. The only time I did that, for whatever reason, they stopped the Adusted Gold search, which was really funny. I was like, I'm already this far. Why would you stop that? But yeah. And then for non-engine, like I said, very little. Adding Salesman to the main, and that's the only, as of right now, that's the only major change I would make. So we are on 3 Fua, because it's, Fua. We are on 3 Ash, not even because, like, it's the best card right now, mostly just to stop Fua. And then also to stop Fua Called By. We're on Talents, because everybody's on hand traps. And then I'm on 3 Droplets. Everybody was, like, really, really surprised that I was maining Droplets this tournament. Like the Memento Canine player, like, he Azuna'd me and made a Valon and went to book my a Dusted Gold after he drolled me. I was like, I'm at least getting a Fiendsmith combo, and he went to Azuna. Valon went to book the Dusted Gold, and I was like, Droplet? He was like, why are you on Droplets on the man? And I looked at him and I was like, dude, you. I was worried about K9. Generally, I mean, the only part of your deck that, like, really cares about, like, Valon and stuff is the Fiendsmith stuff. It's also the part of your deck that kind of loses the hardest to Ripper. Because generally with the other stuff, if you have extension, you can keep going through those engines, but Fiendsmith, like, if you get Rippered on your Fiendsmith effect Reborn and you don't have another way to get a Light Fiend on field, you kind of just lose. Next up is the extra deck. This extra deck is very much so not optimal. The biggest thing I want is to find room for another Baphomet. But you can play basically anything in your extra deck. So for Chimera fusions, I'm on the King of Phantom Beasts and the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts. Illusion Beast seems really good in theory. I had to cut it. I actually ended up cutting it for Moa Regina when I learned that it lets you bridge into Azamina. Generally, you can combo so hard that you don't typically have a really hard time getting to an OTK, but, Illusion Beast does simplify the process quite a bit. For generic fusions, I'm on Magnum, and obviously the Guardian Chimera. Magnum is good for 2 reasons. It is an alternate way into Fiendsmith combo. If you play Magnum, you can actually have your Sinful Spoil stuff bridge into Fiendsmith. And also there's the fact, he recycles all your fusion spells, which is really nice, free draws. I'm pretty sure in this deck you can draw like 2 or 3 times over the course of your combo if you weave in a Magnum. For Azamina cards, we are on Illa Sylvia, Risalago, and Moa Regina. Um, yeah, Moa Regina's insane. You are never making this with Hollowed Azamina. You hard make it. Um, Illa Sylvia, obviously the Omni Negate. Risalago, Searches of Sinful Spoils. I did not realize this until I was reading the Azamina cards for the first time at like 2 a.m. yesterday, or day before yesterday. If they're destroyed by battle or card effect, you usually get to Search of Sinful Spoils, which is absolutely insane. I don't think Regina does that one, but this also has another relevant effect while it's on field. If you activate or use the effect of an Azamina or Sinful Spoils, you just get to pop 2 cards. So if you have a way to revive this with like Berfomet or something after you've gone through your combo and you have an Illa Sylvia on field, you go Illa Sylvia effect to negate something and you just pop 2 of their cards. Next up for Fiendsmith, Requiem, Sequence, Lacrima, and Desiree. So for me personally, Necroquip never really came up. Lacrima was pretty crazy because it let you get like your Light Fiends back to hand, which was very relevant in certain game states for me to be able to go, Engraver for Tract to get Lurie and then shuffle something back to bring back out the Engraver, because then I could combo off into more stuff and you could get more bodies on field in order to make probably one of the most important cards in your extra deck, which is a Baoku. This is just pitch a card, revive something. I don't care about the destruction effect. I'm just going to pitch cards and revive things. I think I destroyed maybe 1 card the entire tournament. I kept forgetting about the effect, so this also allows you to just draw during the standby phase up to the different number of types of monsters in your graveyard. And then, you shuffle them back equal to the number of cards you drew. So you can fix your hand if you, were able to combo, and then on your next turn, but your hand had, a bunch of bricks in it or something, that you can just then shuffle back and draw into actually relevant cards on turn 3. Obviously, Caesar's Caesar. Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is an absolutely insane card right now. It can become unaffected by monster effects, and your stuff cannot be destroyed by battle, which is extremely, extremely relevant when we get to the side deck. It's evil. If you can establish a Light and Dark Chaos Angel on top of your side deck cards. The final card in the extra deck, it came up actually quite a few times, Lars. So there's kind of a bunch of decks running around right now that don't super care about Caesar. Like I mentioned, I played against Castira Regenesis. From what I understand, the Regenesis cards, they do not activate to special summon themselves, so they don't care about Caesar. So I made Lars, and having an Omni's fun. And also, in certain board states, you can end on both Caesar and Lars. If you start going through your Chimera stuff and you have enough bodies to go through your full Fiendsmith combo and establish Caesar plus a Bow, you can use your extra Nightmare Apprentice and Chimera Fusion to just end on a Lars. Okay, time for the war crimes. We have Searchable Kaiju. Very necessary. I'm on Chaos Hunter. It is a fiend. I'm on King Tengar Wangu for Yummy. And also random Sprite players. And then we get into the really fun cards. Barrier Statue, because this one didn't get banned. Kawaki Meru Doom. This card is stupid. Everybody thought that this was a skill drain for Light and Dark monsters. No, it does not matter where they are. If you, the tier player, you go tier, mill, and I chain to reborn this from graveyard. On a new chain, none of your tiers in the graveyard are activating. It doesn't matter where they are. Light and Dark monster effects just cannot be used during the main phase. And then End of Anubis for random stuff. So yeah, we're on five searchable Floodgate, searchable Kaiju. And then the rest of the extra deck is basically one-ofs. Or the rest of the side deck, sorry. We're on a massive thrust package. So I'm only running 2 thrust. Mostly due to space reasons. You could probably cut Chaos Hunter, but there are people that I know for a fact, even before going, that would be on Malice at my locals because they have played Malice since release. There's people who have played Chimera since release, and I did not want them banishing things. So we're on 2 thrust. For going second, we are on Herald of the Abyss, another searchable board out. Dark Ruler, Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, evenly. Classic board breakers. And then I have 2 going first cards, which is Different Dimension Ground, because, you know, you can't have enough graveyard hate. And then I could have played, like, Grisai Prison or something, but I ended up playing Daruma Karma Cannon, because we do not end on any links, and we can just use a bow to banish and revive something before we activate this. So we don't end. So we're not losing anything. You know, if we have to hold this, so we can basically hold this until like a last interruption, and they really can't like super do anything about it. And a lot of decks right now can't play through this. Like Branded, I think the only other like major fusion decks in the format is Branded and Dracotail. There were actually a lot of Branded players at locals last night. You know, one of my friends, you know, I was talking to him and he informed me that like basically everybody has been unbranded since the structure deck came out. But yeah, that is the deck profile, guys. Third place, Warcrime Chimera. Hopefully, I think I'm gonna stick with this deck. I might try cutting it down to like a 40 card version, because like I said, main deck right now is 60. I have put some thought into you know, other variants. Like I could play like a branded variant. I think could be really fun. I really enjoy the deck so far, even without the floodgates. So over the course of the tournament, I think I normal summoned this against the tier player once. That was the game where I bricked. I drew this and I normal summoned it. And then the only floodgate I ever actually searched is like I think I made Diabells once against the Makonko player, and then I searched Barrier Statue once. None of these other cards came up. They went in the deck. I basically just got hand trapped to a point where I was prioritizing getting actual interruptions on the field as opposed to ending on floodgates. So debatably, you could remove all of the random floodgates, like these guys. You could probably remove these, honestly, and be fine. I'd probably leave in Chaos Hunter, because it's also a hand trap. I would probably you could probably cut these and play like another Chaos Hunter, and then more, and then maybe the third thrust and like more relevant cards. This is just my villain arc. So I'm going to side in like 2 or 3 of these against a Yummy player. You know, and a lot of the time I don't need my normal summons. So, you know, I can search one, and if I hard draw one, because I'm drawing 2 to 3 cards over the course of my combo, I just normal summon it. And you're not playing the game, I'm sorry. Just how it is. But yeah, that will conclude the video. If you guys have any questions, I will be happy to answer them in the comments below. Let me know if you would like to see any of my iterations on this deck. And I will catch you guys in the next one.